I used to live in Hauula, Hawaii. Now, that's on the island where Honolulu is, and whenever we're talking to somebody from Hawaii and we say, we used to live in Hauula, you get an, oh. Because they understand. People from Hauula are tough. They have minds of their own. They're a little hot-headed, and you just don't mess with them. That's not the only place in Hawaii, on the island of Oahu, where there's trouble. There's another one, which is Waimanalo, and then Waianae. And all you have to do is say the names of those towns, and people go, oh, I understand, because there are tough people that live with their... You don't cross them. Well, Jesus lived in a town like that. His town was Nazareth, and it was the same kind of thing. In fact, Jesus had a would-be follower. He would become a disciple named Nathanael. And in John chapter 1, when he found out this Jesus that they were talking about was from Nazareth, his response was, can anything good come out of Nazareth? And the response was, hey, come and see, check Jesus out. But Jesus visited his hometown one time. This account is in Luke chapter 4, and he spoke in their gathering place. It's called a synagogue. And he was doing a sermon, and people were really pleased with it, and then Jesus crossed the line. He actually said that couple places in the Old Testament that God would prefer to help a foreigner than his own people. And that did it. They went off. Flash. Anger's there. The people yelled. They jumped up. They grabbed Jesus, and they were going to throw him out of town. Now, there's a difference, though, in Nazareth when they throw you out of town, because the edge of town is on a cliff. And there's a 40-foot drop from that cliff. So when they're serious about throwing somebody out of town, it could hurt. In fact, it could kill you. And it's just an interesting line as this is going on, because they took Jesus to the cliff, and then it says Jesus walked through the midst of them and went on his way. Now understand, we're talking about tough guys. People like from Waianae in Hawaii, tough guys. Now, how is it that Jesus walked through their midst? Don't think for a minute that everybody stopped to take a selfie and wasn't paying attention and Jesus got away. And don't think for a minute that Jesus looked like a victim so much they felt sorry for him and let him go. You know what Jesus did? He stopped and he gave him a look. It's the go ahead, make my day kind of thing. And all of a sudden, they weren't so interested in pushing Jesus off that cliff, and he walked through their midst. Jesus had an appointment with the cross, and he wasn't going to die before then. The scriptures tell us that it was planned before the creation of the world that Jesus would die for us, and Jesus selected the time he was going to die on the cross, and so this time in his hometown, he refused to die. Other times, there people picked up stones to stone him. Jesus walked away from them. Jesus didn't have a martyr complex. He wasn't interested in suffering just for the sake of suffering. Jesus went to the cross to bear your sin and mine, to pay for your shame and mine. Jesus went to the cross to save us, and it was at a precise time, in a precise plan, so that he could reach our lives for the sake of the kingdom of God, the glory of God, and so that we can enjoy belonging to God. Jesus is tough. And Jesus was unwilling to put up with anything to keep him from the cross, even a trip down a 40-foot cliff. Jesus is worth you paying attention to, because he called his shot. He said, I'm going to die when I want to. I'm going to raise from the dead when I want to. And he did it. Check him out.